Hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2. We're in Switzerland, of course, and we're staring at our lovely helixy type thing, waiting on a big coal train. We spent well in excess of 20 million setting all this up over a couple of episodes. We have a tree growing through our strut there on our bridge. That's nice. Here comes our coal train. Now, one thing I would like to do, we're going to start this one pretty rapidly. Not a long intro today. As if we've got some funds, one thing I would like to do is throw a few wagons on there before it goes to pick them up. And get as much... There's a bear. Look at the bear running down the hill. Away from the train. Run, bear, run. Oh, perfect. Right, there we go. I should say he. It's going to be called Robbie. Obviously, Robbie Coltrane. Hagrid. We could call it Hagrid too, couldn't we? Anyway, down he goes. And let's bring up the UI. Let's do this. Oh, we're broke. Never mind. Do we have a login train? It's just pulling in. Okay. Right, there's a good chance we can throw a few wagons on. Let's do it. And then we'll talk more about what's planned. Obviously, we're going to ride the train back up the helix to make sure we can actually get up there. How many can we fit on? I'd like to fit 4 on, but let's take that many. I think it was 3. If we can get another one, we'll go back in here. That would be awesome. That would take us to 256. Come on. 37. What do we need? 373740. Go. Get it. Can we get another one, or are we pushing it? Are we pushing it? I think so. That would take us to 264. We're still only at 366 meters long. We're still at good, although I don't think that. No, we're done. Game over. Right, anyway, do we have enough on the platform? Plenty. Ideally, we want to get our rate somewhere in the region of, let's see what we can see, 200. We're going to have to wait for at least a couple of runs for that to balance out. But as you can see, even with a single train, we're nowhere near clearing the 400 we need from... It is 400. Yes, it is 400 that we can take from here. Currently, that's the only thing we're taking. The question is this train going to make us a profit? And we need to get on board, don't we? Well, that's not a good view. We can't see anything. Should we go to the front? Oh, well, there's all right. Maybe to the side there. There we go. We're not quite on board. Oh, I got it alt out. Now, you see it's a bit smoother. There's another thing I've noticed with talking about the smoothness of this. Is sometimes it seems that the camera itself is the issue, not the actual performance of the game. The reason I know that is because when the train actually stops and you see a second train pass you, or things flying by or whatever like that, I don't know what, that's not a sentence. Anyway, it's smooth. But as it goes round tight corners and heads round the tracks, it judders. Almost like it's, I don't know, not anti-alazed the route of the train, or the camera's too tight to the actual train itself. So maybe that compounds the issue. And it's not so much performance as in just an awkward camera. Who knows? Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We got up there, didn't we, guys? I think we were hovering around the 50 kilometers an hour mark. And that's with a full load of 256 units. Tons. I just call it units. As you can see there, we're juddering. But I don't think it's actually the performance. It could be. I don't know. It could be. But I feel that the camera is actually playing a part as well. And if you move it, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we don't want to worry about that, do we? It's a management tycoon-y type game. Not a simulator, so we don't really mind. If it's a bit stuttery as it gets busier and busier. There she goes. Do you know, I spent a while watching this train. Just to see if there's any issues that we can address. There's a few. wobbly bits on the track, but we don't really have the funds to address it yet. We will do eventually. We may need to actually adjust the route for this train depending on how much profit we're going to make from it. Because if it breaks even, or worst case scenario, we're making a loss, then we're definitely going to have to cut a few corners on our track. Yeah, we've got fuel that we can deal with soon, and Interlaken requires that fuel, which means even if we have to adjust how we get to the Interlaken industrial yard, even freight yard, is that what we called it? I think it was a freight yard. Yeah, so we might go in the other end, which I'll talk more about, depending on whether this makes us money or enough profit. Because if it does, then we can just leave it alone. So how much is this train going to cost us? It's costing us a fortune. Obviously, it's going to take a couple of years, it is years, but not calendar years. It's game years. So every 12 minutes. In fact, we could take a look. What was the line rate on this? The frequency is 26 minutes, and there's 12 minutes in a financial year. You ignore the date completely. So 12 minutes in a financial year, and the frequency. It's frequency's per station, isn't it? Wouldn't that mean 52 minutes for a round trip? Because it's 26 minutes to get to the first station, then 26 minutes to get back. I can't remember how it is. Frequency. Oh, we could have a look at this. Here we go. The frequency of a line indicates the time interval between the vehicle. That's useful when there's one. That can't be right. Between the vehicles. But how does that work when you've got one? It's got to be per station then, right? That's the only way I can think of it. I mean, this means there's 8 minutes between the two arriving at a station. That's what I'm going to guess. So there's 26 minutes. I just don't know whether that translates to a 52-minute round trip. I'm going to assume it is. It would make sense. We can get some more wagons on. I'm a little concerned. This is costing us a fortune. Again, we can't tell, can we, on the first run? Do you know, guys, it's almost tempting to fast forward it. Now, here's our fuel. And if we look at consumers, Interlaken and Oberhofen, which, if you remember, I said we're going to come down here and head across there and up there for the iron. However, there is our oil. So, given that, an oil train can actually run all the way down there if we have a freight line, maybe a local passenger service, run this way into here for our iron, and then bypass for our fuel. We could have a through line on here as well. It means we might need another platform or share platforms. That's a little awkward. I wasn't expecting fuel to pass through. We have new trams. Well, we're not really in a position to do that, so we'll pretend that's not a thing. We definitely can't do any smoothing. Oh, thank you in the comments, everybody. We had a mixed bag. Most of the general consensus is keeping it as an embankment. As in real life, that is much less when it comes to maintaining it financially. So this is the way that you would go in real life. However, I do understand that a viaduct looks rather fancy. There comes our train. It's pretty long at the moment. Not as long as it's going to be. We are going to keep throwing wagons on there, and we probably will once it makes its first drop. It's obviously going to pay out, but is it going to cover the cost of running it? So yes, we're going with an embankment here, because this is a little deceiving. As you can see, the road's up at that angle. There isn't really much. We could have a river here or a lake, but we can't do that in Transport Fever. We're way above sea level there, so we couldn't make real water. We could paint it on, maybe, but well, it wouldn't be animated or anything. Alright, our train is nearly there. We could do this one, couldn't we? We're going to go over and under. Can we... oh, that looks cool. Look, we can look around. There's our trucks. There's our signal. We're coming in. We need to be off the actual train though when we come in. And we want to be looking at that point over here. Let's get it in view. Look at how much it's costing us. Oh dear. Costing us a small fortune. Please be a big payout. Please. Like I said, it's going to be a couple of runs before we know just how much. Either way, this is going to cost us. Moment of truth is arriving. Come on. Don't let me down. At least break even. 4.7 million. Alright. I don't think that's going to cut it, really. We're definitely going to need more wagons on here. And possibly a shorter journey. Let's see how long it takes to get back and what we're going to do in the meantime. Well, we've got some funds now. We've got 5 million. Let's not waste that on on smoothing. Or add a few. Do you know what? Let's. Oh dear, look at it. It's going. It's going. It's going. We'll add some more of these on. I said it's going to be half a kilometre, and I feel like that's a thing. Can we afford half a kilometre train? No, that's awkward. Well, how many can we afford? That many. Do it. Now, ideally, what I would have loved to have done there is wait for this train to get all the way to the coal mine, pause it, and then spend our money. But I'm not sure whether we're going to be in the green or in the black by the time we get there. Yeah, I'm spending it as we get it so that we've got the wagons on before we even get there. It's not the best way to do it. Obviously, we're now paying for those wagons. Maintenance costs, so you definitely wait until you are ready to pick up. But if that happened while waiting for the train to get over there, we're never going to be able to extend it. So I'm just taking the opportunity every time we have some funds to throw a few wagons on there. And we need a half a kilometre train. There we go. We have it. This is our train. What is the pulling power? Are we going to make it? We dropped to about 25 kilometers an hour. Now, with this length train, the question is, can we get back up the helix? We can get up here because we're empty. We can have steep inclines coming from here, from the freight yard, towards the coal mine, but we need to be careful on the way back. So we want to be heading downhill where possible, which we are doing, I believe anyway. Yeah. We are heading downhill. So there we go. That's how our train's going to be. Now, given that we want to take fuel from here to Interlaken and Oberhofen, even if we, say, cut this journey, because we're doing this whole thing here is costing us. There are options. We could come down here and we could actually go into the back, which is one idea I've had. The other one is to branch off early and hug here and have a junction just there. I kind of like this one. It cuts a lot more off, and all of this is bare. It's never going to be used. It does mean possibly a little tunnel through here, but we don't mind that. The rest of it should be open, and it would give us a nice view of our big coal train from the city here. So that would be kind of cool. And I feel like we've got the height from here to branch out and have a viaduct. There's an idea for a viaduct. Do we have the height? Well, we can't afford it, but there's no harm in looking, is there? Do we have the height? We do. Easily. I mean, it's a bit tall, but then we've got this bit here. We can smooth that and bring that up. That would be fine. That's kind of nice, isn't it? It all depends. I don't know how much this is actually going to work out as. Now we've got a longer train. I think we're pushing it. If we put any more than our current load on, we could always triple head it if need be. But that's just going to throw more money away. If it's not needed, and we can get away with a twin engine and throw as many wagons on as possible and allow it to get up at a decent speed. Because we want it to, well, firstly, be moving. That's a good idea. But secondly, moving at, well, we don't want to drop below 40 even on the steepest incline, do we? No, we want to keep momentum going. So yeah, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. But this is a nice pickup. Look at the size of that train. That's 0.5 kilometre. I mean, we've got room, haven't we? We may need to do some fancy things over here if we do have a shortcut, because we could hug round the side here and come in, do some scenery up here. It's kind of lacking some trees here, isn't it? So if we had a tunnel, we could have some trees on top and it would look like that was the best way to do that. I mean, we have a little viaducty thing here. Not as impressive as the one we were going to have up here. I've noticed as well, we've got an unnecessary height gain just there. A kind of little bump. It was suggested I could have used M&N to curve this. But it's pretty much straight. In fact, we can make sure it is, and probably rework that for our fuel train, which is going to run down here. So this bit here, even if we divert our freight train, our coal train, Robbie, down this way, and we come into the other side, we're still going to be using this now, which I hadn't accounted for to take our fuel out, although we would need to rework that junction. Now, our steel train could also take this path as well, and we're going to have another junction just here. So, yes, we might come across some issues though. What would it be? Steel and... yes, steel and coal would come into here. I don't have enough, do I? Yeah, you do. Iron would come into here. Perhaps construction materials and our stone can share this platform, which would leave us a permanent pass-through point for our fuel train to go down to Interlaken. But we're a long way off doing any of that, as we're currently paying for the privilege of a monster train. Not that one. Oh, that's money. Yes, that is money. There, we're heading back down the other way. Let's get on board. Let's get up front though and on board. There we go. By the stack there. Can we... ooh, no, I've changed the camera. Can we go down a bit? There we go. We normally have these at the end, but we might as well sit on the front here. There we go. Oh, we got the lag. Let me try an Alt-Tab. I don't know why Alt-Tab puts the camera down to the track. See, it's lovely and smooth, isn't it, after Alt-Tab? So maybe it's... I don't know. It's a bug, isn't it? Not performance. That's just straight up bug. Alt-Tabbing shouldn't affect anything. Not this day and age. Back in the day. I'm not sure about that. That's a bit curvy, isn't it? I would prefer that to be a straight across the bridge and then come down. Well, I guess it's alright. Our helixy thing's kind of cool though. I like this. This is gentle, isn't it? It's almost like we're not going down or changing height at all. Oh, that's lovely. You just pat yourself up on the back there, Graham. Oh, that lag's awful, but that's lovely. I mean, if you pretend it's not lagging, it does look... there we go, we're smoothed out. Yeah, oh, I do like that. There's us! There's the back! That's great. If we make it just a bit longer, we'll literally pass under ourselves. Oh, isn't that marvellous? Yeah, look at us. Look at us above us. Oh, that's cool. That makes me all sorts of happy. Do you know what? Can we delete that tree for free? I think it doesn't cost anything, does it? Delete the bridge. There we go. That's better. I don't know what that was all about. Right, there goes our train. It's going to pick up another load. Although I will say, we're sort of okay on money. We're almost... no, there we go. Spoke too soon. Do we have enough on the platform? I'm going to say yes. Obviously we do. As we've only got a line rate of whatever it is. 187. Well, we're super close, aren't we, to that golden 200, which is what we really need. It's 20. It still says 24 minutes. I think we're going to have to reduce that. That's 2 years per station, so 4-year round trip. Is that right? I mean, not calendar year, but for financial years. Oh, it's dropped to 22. But that, if that is per station, not a round trip. That's awkward. 44-minute round trip. In real minutes. That's an episode. That takes an episode to get there and back. Which can't be right. Because, yeah, well, I think that's round trip then, isn't it? Because we've been there and back. And how long are we? We're gone 20 minutes in the episode. Maybe it's full length journey. I was sure, almost 100% sure that was the interval between stations, but after reading the context help there, it definitely looks like it's between vehicles, so it might be just the full length of the journey now. Ooh, here's something we could do. We could get fancy. This is how I take my screenshots, but you can also do it to have interesting views from the camera. If we take the draw paths and crosshairs off there, you'll see we don't have the crosshair, but we could get down like this somewhere. I don't know, will that do us? There's our train. Yeah, somewhere like this. We could see it come off the bridge with a fancy zoom. And if you write Alt and G, oh look, there's a road in the background. Distracted. Then you can hide the UI, and you've got the little camera icon, but you can throw that up there. Then hit your play shortcut, and you get a fancy camera view. There we go. Isn't that lovely? So that's how you can do that if you want to enjoy some station views or junction views yourselves. I think you might need debug mode on. It looks kind of cool. I like that. Well, we get up there, don't we? And then to get out of it, you can just close this and it'll go back to the game camera and pause again. But anyway, there we go. 46, we have slowed a little bit. We were 52 last time we headed up this way, but we haven't slowed enough to worry about it. In fact, we could more than likely add even another wagon on there. We have one thing to consider though, and that is, do we have enough room at the freight station? This train needs to make us money. There's no two ways about it. If it doesn't, we can't expand. Well, that's not true, is it? It needs to at least break even. I mean, one thing to think about is if this one is breaking even, but the more direct, which it would be if we're thinking about coming down here, if this more direct iron mine would make us a bigger profit, then the two combined are making then steel, which is going up to here, which is going to make us even more money. We might be able to do that. The only thing that I would like is to possibly make as much profit as I could from this train. It'd be better, wouldn't it? Especially when we got the option to go this way without it looking too out of place. We could have a grade crossing here where it's flat. We haven't got many of those, have we? It certainly would work. Obviously, we're not doing anything at the moment. So all we get to do today is look at trains. That's a shame, isn't it? We can't even afford to put our new trams on. I might have broke the game. Our playthrough. What we've got to do is look at how much this new train makes us, because we have paid extra to take new empties back. We've paid the maintenance costs on those. This train is making us a profit every single time, although I will say Transport Fever doesn't do a good job for any journey that takes longer than a year, or even half a year, I would say. So most train journeys displaying how much of a profit or loss you're making. It needs to be reworked to be useful information. It's just not useful. This number here, it's just not useful. It doesn't tell you anything. It might as well say bobble flubble. It might as well. Literally. Just pointless. On some lines it's maybe worth having. but this one doesn't make much sense at all. You'd have to probably calculate over a 10-year period, manually, how much you're spending, how much you've got, and then divide it by 10 to get a rough idea of your yearly running costs for that train. As this one only shows you the last 12 minutes or a year of your line or vehicle in this case, which is a shame. I guess the best way to work that out would be take your last 10 full journeys on how much was earned and how much was spent on maintenance during that time period, and divide that by 10 to give you an average. You have to account for things like stopping at signals, loading, unloading. So yeah, the last 10 journeys would be a better figure, I think. The last 12 minutes doesn't really work well. Anyway, we're not going to be able to see this much, are we? We might as well fast forward it. Otherwise, it's never going to get there. We're doing all right on this. Look at that. We're at maximum speed. It has been mentioned, you do realise that we've got high-speed track. Yes, I do realise. There's no point having it just yet for freight trains, as we have nothing that can go beyond track speed of this these wooden sleepers here. Tracks, the slow tracks as it were. So extra maintenance costs I do not need at all. Oh, I don't like this red number. It's been there for like the majority of the episode, hasn't it? We are taking 376 this time, 256 last time. That's a huge difference, and a huge profit difference, I'm hoping, as well. How much is this train going to make us at this length? Because this is about what we're going to keep it at for a while. Oh, nearly 7 million. Well, that's looking a little healthier. This makes no sense at the moment, though. It means nothing. We can't go by that until we've bedded in, so it's going to take a few episodes to get this up and running. However, that is a healthy balance to be taking on for this train on the way back. We also brought some wagons, didn't we, last time? Now, the question is, we have our logging train approaching the station, which are always full. We could perhaps do something with these, couldn't we? Oh, do you know what we could do with these? Someone said I missed an opportunity to have a crocodile. We could add more wagons, because these struggle, as far as I remember. I don't think they've got enough power. Yeah, we don't have enough power. We're at our limit for one loco. How much would it cost us? Where's our train? We're going to have to do this very carefully. It's on the way back. Quickly pause it. How much would it cost us to electrify the entire route of that logging train? Because we do want to get into the electric trains, don't we? We're in Switzerland. That's what we want to do. But it's going to cost us a pretty penny to electrify. 56k just for the station. Oh, it's a little more expensive for stations. Okay, maybe we can do this. We can get away with it, guys, I think. We may need to sort out junctions. We do want to electrify this anyway, because our passenger loco is going to be doing it. It's not a bad price. It's a bit of a gamble given how much we're struggling, but we're not running to capacity. There we go, guys. We're electrified. Right, let's go over the line and make sure the map... Not that we need to worry about the masts, but it would be nice. Like here, for instance, is not pleasant. Do you know what? See if you can get the train on first. We can do the pretties. It's not affecting the gameplay. It's only affecting visuals. Now, which train is it? This one. We need to get this one. Manage vehicle. Let's make sure it's selected. Let's modify it. Shall we see if we can get a crocodile on for the end of the episode? That would kind of be nice. Let's look at the difference first. This one, 1650 kilowatts power. That's the key one, I would say. It does 75 kilometers an hour as well. What one do we have on here? The 310. So compare that to the... Where's the 310? It's selected. 1350. This one has a better top speed. However, cargo, our wagons are limited to 80 anyway, so we would be a bit slower, but we could hopefully carry a bit more. That's what I'm hoping. 1650 versus yes. So we should have the power. We could colour it black, but we're going to have it green for now. We need to add that though, Mr. T. There we go. Now this, again, this figure is pointless. Really. It just tells you whether you can carry empties at that speed. I'd really love that to be full figure. Okay, so if I'm going to do this, we should at least add a couple more wagons on, right? At least, at the very least, until this goes mediocre perhaps, because we're not meeting the line rate. Mediocre, there we go. Modify for 6.9 million, which means we can only afford one, so you better earn us more money. There we go, guys, we've got a new train on. I'm blowing through our money, that's pleasant, but he does carry more. 232. The question is, does he have the power? Let's hope so. It's so quiet compared to the other one. That's going to benefit us as well. We're probably causing quite a bit of disruption in Zweisimmen. Mediocre or not, doesn't matter. I thought we were. Well, I mean, at least we're doing our job there. 232. Do you have... You're struggling a bit to pull off the mark, bizarrely. Jewel, we might have overburdened you. Mediocre. Not enough power, which is what it said before. However, we don't have any steep grades. Good. So we don't need to worry about it. Okay, we're good to go. We're good to go. We've got... This bit is the only grade I think we've got. And that is barely a grade. So you're carrying... We should be running at about the same speed, even though we've got one steam, one electric train, which is kind of cool. But they only carry... Whoa, how much do you carry? What is your capacity? 192, so we've gained quite a bit, haven't we? Where's our electric train? 232. Okay, well, not the greatest amount. I might have made a mistake here. Dear, oh dear, man. Details, 2.7 million running cost. Details, 2.2. Oh dear. Well, that might have backfired as well. I tell you what, I'm making some fantastic decisions. Oh, that's another thing that might be causing lag at the moment. The AI are upgrading the roads, aren't they? And we certainly can't afford it. It depends whether this makes us more money. We get to see here's the history of our steam train. And after this point, which was its last income, all of this, at that point there, can be compared to what this electric train will do for us. It should be okay. It is carrying more, obviously, quite a bit more. So fingers crossed, guys, that I haven't just ruined our only reliable money earner. Oh dear. There we go. We've got old and new. We're paying more to run this one, but it is more powerful. So it should handle the grades a little better. It's got a slower top speed. See, that does run up to 80. This only runs to 75. But carries more. We could put potentially another wagon on it, because it is getting up to track speed. Or loco speed. We'd need about 7 million to have two of them running, but it might be a good idea to have... yes! We're going to have both of them run side by side, aren't we? So we're definitely going to see what sort of profit each one is making, although this sort of gets in the way. Okay, something we could do here. You see we've got our train parked miles behind there, and the back end has passed here. We don't really want... or do we? No, we don't need it. What I'd like to do is put a clearing signal here, and we have just the tool for that. If we go to the Swiss dwarf signals we've got, we can actually have a clearing signal that doesn't look out of place there. when they pass this switch, they can go through. And we can have it one way, like that, which will release now this train up here. I don't normally do that because what will happen is, if we play it, if the back end of this train hasn't passed this signal, he's going to wait kind of across this switch and block this entire area. Yeah, it might be okay. It does clear anyway. It just means he gets moving sooner, and that's less delay. The same will happen if our coal train is waiting here because the logging train has gone through. When he clears his back end there, it frees up the bridge. The train's running the same direction. That's just a tiny bit of optimization on the line, but it is risky unless you know for sure trains are not going to back up on there. We'll see how that works. I think it will improve it rather than snafu it. Anyway, we'll get to see our first payment on this. We are in a bit of trouble, aren't we, financially? Hey, but most of the map is looking rather nice now. Yep, that's what I'm going with. Anyway, who cares about finances? In a game that means you can't expand unless you're making a profit. We do, don't we? We care about finances. I don't think, personally, I've made the best decisions today. But we'll see. Right, we need this open. Let's take a look. Have I dug a bigger hole? Or is it going to pay for itself? Or about stay the same would be, you know, about the same sort of ratio. 4.2 million. Alright. That's a big line, isn't it? Yeah, because that 4.2 million almost matches the return journey. Since the two trains are roughly the same speed, I mean, it's 5 kilometers an hour difference, except that I'm pretty sure the steam train struggles more than the electric train on the route. Where is our steam train exactly? I can't see him. Oh, he's waiting here anyway. His power is... It takes him 5 minutes on the grade, which is what they're doing up there. But we'll go with the flat, shall we? So to get up to 80 kilometers an hour, it takes 1,960. Well, if we don't edit it, pin it. Right, we've opened up the side by side. Now, where's the mediocre? It takes 133 seconds to get up to 75 kilometers an hour. On a medium slope, it does 57 kilometers an hour maximum. Yeah, that's quite the improvement. It's going to have a much better acceleration up that slope, and we can do a little better on speed on the slope as well. So yeah, overall, it's going to help us. The emissions, though, that's going to help the city no end. We might be able to fit another... It does mean we might be able to fit another wagon on the back. That's certainly a possibility. We don't need it running absolutely full tilt, do we? No. Well, guys, that's been a tough one for me. But planning is there. Now we need the finances. If we can't get the finances, we won't even be able to redirect our train and cut that journey down. We're not going to know, are we? We're not going to know until we've made this journey a few times. Until that happens, where is our train? We're coming back down here. Oh dear. Oh dear. What have I done? I think we'll be okay. What do you think, guys? Do you think we're going to pull ourselves out of debt? Because we're just hovering in the red now for eternity. Do I want to stick another wagon on the back of this? If you ever have money. Are we going to go broke? I don't think so. I'm confident. I'm still confident. We've just made some big changes. This is bothering me though. I think we do need to, if we can ever afford it, cut through here and have a nice little viaduct running across from here. I would like that, and then we'll reinforce it with brick or yeah, some sort of brick, because that will be a little bit of fun in itself. But in order to do that, we need to make sure we can keep making money. Our electric train is heading up here. We'll take one last look at a full journey on its finances. Maybe we'll take a little ride on this around the back, and then we'll go back on the other train. That sounds like a plan. But we need to look at how much you're gonna earn total. Come on, get in there. Oh, typical. Well, it's about 1 million on top of 4.2, so about 5 point something million. Yes, but that doesn't cover the extra 500,000 we're paying for it, does it? No. Oh, hang on, it rarely made that though a year. You're talking, yeah, and we don't have another electric train. I think it's okay. I think what that will do is keep us at roughly the same income. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. We're going to have 2 of those, and we might even stick another wagon on the back if and when we can afford to do any of that, which is looking a little bit suspect at the moment. But there goes a lot of money. We do have a chance every time. This drops off 7 million. So if we're even close to it being in the green, we can, or in the black, we can spend that wisely, which I'm currently not doing, I think. Oh, am I? Who knows? Right, anyway. Should we get on board our electric train for the end of this? Did that train just arrive and not take us out of debt? Okay, this is a good time to end this. I'm hoping by the time we come back, we'll have a better time of it. I think so though, because we've got 7 million on the way down here. Where is it? Where's our 7 million? There. If we do have this branch here, we're almost cashing in, aren't we? Going that way. I think that it's not going to cut much off the journey, but it will cut enough off the journey that we're making a little bit more, or a lot more of a profit. I think it'll be a lot more profit, but we're going to have to be able to afford it as well. What sort of rate do we have here before we go? Then we'll get on board an electric train. 340 of our 400, although I will say it needs to be higher than that, doesn't it? That's the frequent. I know that's per station, so yeah, we need to get that up to 400. Goodness me. Goodness me. We're almost out of debt, guys. Go on, please. Yay! We do. That's a nice time. That's a perfect way to end it. That was a rough one as far as our finances go. However, we do have a brand new electric train, a crocodile, that we're sat on, which is awfully quiet. I love it. Fans of steam, do not panic. We're not going to be getting rid of all of our steam trains just yet. They're going to be hanging around for a little while. Fans of electric trains, well, we're starting, when we can afford it, to add them to our line. Have I made a mistake? Maybe a minor one. That's what I'll say. Although I think 2 of these will pay for itself, because we've got to remember we're going to be taking more planks back, and the steam trains would struggle to add any more cargo, and we've definitely got the room to maneuver there to add another wagon, I would say, on these electric trains when we can afford it, which in turn will mean more planks to pick up, which will increase our profits on the return journey. Hopefully it's enough. Anyway, we're lagging a bit. Alright guys, I have alt-tabbed and I've made it all nice and smooth again for a little bit. I'll leave you with the rest of this journey up to the logging camp, and hopefully when we come back we'll dig ourselves out of yet another hole financially. There goes a steam train as well. So until next time, take care.